Today, we're bringing 12 North Carolina legends back to life, the most haunting mysteries in the Tar Heel State. Number 1. Brown Mountain Lights. High in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina, a mystery has been glowing for over a century. The Brown Mountain Lights appear as strange, glowing orbs that dance across the ridges and valleys near Morganton. These unexplained lights have baffled scientists, investigators, and locals for generations. First recorded sightings date back to the 1800s, but Cherokee legends suggest they've been there much longer. The lights appear at random times, floating silently through the darkness, like lanterns carried by invisible hands. They pulse, fade, and reappear in different spots, defying all attempts to explain them away. Some say the lights are the spirits of Cherokee and Catawba warriors still fighting ancient battles. Others believe they're the souls of those who died in the mountains, forever searching for their way home. Scientists have tried to dismiss them as car headlights or swamp gas, but the lights appeared long before automobiles existed, and there are no swamps on Brown Mountain. Witnesses describe orbs ranging from small, flickering flames to bright lights the size of basketballs. They move with purpose, sometimes following hikers along the trails before vanishing into thin air. Park rangers and seasoned mountain guides have seen them countless times, but no one has ever gotten close enough to solve the mystery. Today, thousands of visitors come to Brown Mountain each year, hoping to witness the unexplained phenomenon for themselves. Whether they're natural or supernatural, the Brown Mountain Lights remain one of North Carolina's most enduring mysteries, glowing on through the darkness of time. Number 2. The Devil's Tramping Ground. Deep in the woods of Chatham County lies a perfectly circular patch of barren earth that has puzzled visitors for over a century. Known as the Devil's Tramping Ground, this 40-foot wide circle refuses to grow anything. No grass, no weeds, no trees. Just bare, hard-packed dirt surrounded by lush forest. Local legend says this is where the devil himself paces every night, plotting evil schemes and wearing down the earth with his restless steps. According to the stories, nothing can survive in this cursed circle. Campers have reported that objects left in the center overnight mysteriously move to the edges by morning, as if something pushes them out. Scientists have tested the soil, looking for chemicals or toxins that might explain the barren ground. They found higher salt content than usual, but nothing that fully explains why absolutely nothing will grow there. Trees lean away from the circle as if trying to escape its influence, and animals are said to avoid the area entirely. Visitors who have spent time near the circle report feeling uneasy, hearing strange sounds, or experiencing sudden temperature drops. Some claim to have seen a large, dark figure pacing the perimeter in the dead of night, never stopping, never resting. Skeptics point to foot traffic and soil conditions, but believers know there's something more sinister at work. After all these years, the Devil's Tramping Ground remains as bare and mysterious as ever. In a state full of legends, this cursed circle continues to defy explanation, as if the devil really does call this place home. Number 3. The Mako Light. Along the old railroad tracks near Wilmington, a ghostly light has been appearing for over a century, carrying with it one of North Carolina's most tragic legends. The Mako Light is said to be the lantern of Joe Baldwin, a railroad brakeman who lost his head in a horrible accident in 1867. The story goes that Joe was standing on the back of a train when the cars became uncoupled. As his car rolled backward in the darkness, he grabbed his lantern and waved it frantically, trying to warn an oncoming train. But it was too late. The collision decapitated Joe instantly, sending his head flying into the nearby swamp, never to be found. Ever since that night, people have reported seeing a mysterious light moving along the tracks. It swings back and forth like a lantern, appearing suddenly in the distance, before growing brighter as it approaches. Witnesses describe it as a pale, yellowish glow that seems to search for something along the rails. The light has been seen by countless people over the decades, including railroad workers, police officers, and curiosity seekers. It appears most often on foggy nights, swaying as if carried by invisible hands. Some say if you see the light up close, you can make out the ghostly figure of Joe Baldwin still searching for his lost head. Railroad officials and skeptics have tried to explain the phenomenon as car headlights or swamp gas, but the light appeared long before cars were common in the area, and it moves in ways that natural gases simply cannot. Train crews who worked the route learned to watch for Joe's light, considering it a warning of danger ahead. Though the railroad tracks are long gone, the Mako light continues to appear in the area where Joe Baldwin met his tragic end. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, this headless brakeman's eternal search remains one of North Carolina's most compelling supernatural legends. Number 4. The Lost Colony of Roanoke. On Roanoke Island, off the coast of North Carolina, lies one of America's greatest mysteries. In 1587, 115 English colonists vanished without a trace, leaving behind only the word Croatoan carved into a wooden post. Their disappearance remains unexplained to this day, spawning countless theories and ghostly legends. The colonists, led by John White, were the second attempt at establishing an English settlement in the New World. When White returned to England for supplies, he was delayed by war for 3 years. By the time he made it back to Roanoke in 1590, the entire colony had disappeared. Houses were dismantled, but there were no signs of struggle or violence. The only clue was that single word carved into the fort's post. Croatoan, the name of a nearby island. White tried to sail there, but was forced back by storms, never learning what happened to the colonists, including his own daughter and granddaughter. Some believe the colonists integrated with local Native American tribes. Others think they were killed by disease or hostile forces. But many on the island claim the lost colonists never truly left. Park rangers and visitors have reported seeing figures in period clothing walking through the forests, always just out of clear sight. Strange voices speaking in Old English have been heard echoing through the trees on quiet nights. Children's laughter carries on the wind from empty clearings, and some claim to have seen the ghostly figure of Virginia Dare, the first English child born in America, wandering the island in a flowing white dress. Archaeological digs continue to search for clues, but the fate of the lost colony remains North Carolina's oldest and most haunting mystery. On Roanoke Island, the past refuses to stay buried, and the spirits of the vanished colonists may still be searching for a way home. Number 5. The Beast of Bladenboro. In the winter of 1954, the small town of Bladenboro was gripped by terror as a mysterious creature began attacking livestock across the county. Dogs, cats, and other animals were found dead, completely drained of blood with strange puncture wounds. The Beast of Bladenboro had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same. The attack started suddenly and followed a disturbing pattern. Animals were found with their blood completely drained, but their bodies otherwise untouched. The creature left behind large, cat-like tracks and an overwhelming sense of dread in the community. Farmers armed themselves and kept their animals locked up tight, but the beast seemed to strike wherever it pleased. Witnesses described a large, muscular creature about the size of a small bear, but moving like a giant cat. Its eyes glowed in the darkness, and it could leap incredible distances with ease. Some said it looked like a panther or cougar, but much larger and more aggressive than any known big cat. The town organized hunting parties, and hundreds of people scoured the countryside looking for the creature. They found more tracks, more drained animals, but the beast itself seemed to always stay one step ahead. Then, as suddenly as the attacks had begun, they stopped. The creature vanished, leaving behind only questions and fear. Decades later, people still report glimpses of a large, dark creature moving through the forests around Bladdenborough. Some believe it was a panther or escaped exotic animal. Others think it was something far more sinister, a creature that defies natural explanation. Whether natural predator or supernatural beast, the creature that terrorized Bladdenborough remains an unsolved mystery. The beast proved that even in the modern world, there are still things lurking in the darkness that we don't understand. Number 6. The Boojum. Deep in the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina, where the mist clings to ancient peaks and forests grow thick and dark, lives a creature known only as the Boojum. Part man, part beast, this mysterious being has been frightening mountain folk for generations with its massive size, incredible strength, and blood-curdling howls. Standing nearly 8 feet tall and covered in dark, matted hair, the Boojum is North Carolina's answer to Bigfoot. But this creature is said to be far more aggressive and territorial than its Pacific Northwest cousin. Mountain climbers and hunters have reported finding massive footprints in remote areas, trees stripped of bark by powerful claws, and the overwhelming smell of something wild and dangerous. The Cherokee people who first inhabited these mountains told stories of a giant, hairy creature that lived in the deepest parts of the forest. They called it by different names, but always with the same warning: stay away from its territory or face the consequences. Modern sightings describe a creature that walks upright like a man, but moves through the forest with inhuman speed and grace. Its eyes glow red in the darkness, and its howl can be heard for miles, sending chills down the spines of even the bravest outdoorsmen. Some say it throws rocks at intruders or shakes their tents in the middle of the night. Unlike other cryptid sightings that happen once and are forgotten, the Boojum seems to be a permanent resident of the North Carolina mountains. Park rangers, though they won't admit it officially, have learned to recognize the signs of the creature's presence and quietly steer hikers away from certain areas. Whether it's an undiscovered species, a surviving remnant from prehistoric times, or something else entirely, the Boojum continues to roam the ancient mountains of North Carolina, keeping the old mysteries alive in the modern world. Number 7. Lydia's Ghost of Jamestown Bridge. Along Highway 70 near Jamestown, drivers have been picking up the same ghostly hitchhiker for decades. She appears as a young woman in a white evening gown, standing alone on the side of the road on rainy nights. But those who stop to help her are in for a supernatural surprise that has become one of North Carolina's most famous ghost stories. The legend tells of Lydia, a beautiful young woman who died in a car crash on her way home from a dance in the 1920s. Her car skidded off the bridge during a terrible storm, and she drowned in the dark waters below. But death couldn't keep Lydia from trying to get home to her family. Drivers who stop for the mysterious woman say she's always polite and grateful for the ride. She gives them an address in Jamestown and sits quietly in the back seat, her white dress somehow dry despite the rain. But when they reach her destination and turn around to speak to her, she's gone, vanished without a trace. Curious drivers who knock on the door at the address she gave are always met by the same elderly woman, who sadly explains that Lydia was her daughter, and she died decades ago in a car accident. The woman keeps a drawer full of jackets and sweaters that kind strangers have left behind, thinking the young hitchhiker might be cold. Over the years, dozens of people have reported giving Lydia a ride. Taxi drivers, truckers, and ordinary citizens all tell the same story: a polite young woman in white who disappears before reaching her destination. She never causes harm or fear, just seems to be eternally trying to make it home. Some say Lydia only appears during storms, forever recreating her final fatal journey. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the legend of Lydia has become such a part of North Carolina folklore that Highway 70 is now known as one of the most haunted roads in the state. Number 8. The Ghost Ship Carol. A Deering. Off the treacherous waters of Cape Hatteras, known as the Graveyard of the Atlantic, one shipwreck has puzzled investigators for over a century. The Carol A. Deering was found abandoned in 1921. Her sails set and crew vanished, creating one of the most mysterious maritime legends in North Carolina history. The 5-masted schooner was discovered run aground on Diamond Shoals, her white sails billowing in the wind as if she were still sailing. But when rescue crews boarded the vessel, they found it completely abandoned. The crew of 11 men had vanished without a trace, leaving behind their personal belongings, ship's logs, and uneaten meals. What made the mystery even stranger was what was missing. The ship's navigation equipment, lifeboats, and logs covering the final voyage were gone. The crew quarters looked as if the men had simply walked away in the middle of their daily routines. Beds were made, clothes were folded, but there was no sign of struggle or explanation for the disappearance. Theories have ranged from piracy to mutiny to supernatural forces. The Bermuda Triangle wasn't far away, and some blamed the mysterious disappearance on the same forces that claimed other ships and planes in the area. Others pointed to rum runners and pirates who might have captured the crew for unknown purposes. But the strangest part of the legend is what happened after the ship was discovered. Locals reported seeing the ghostly outline of the Carol A. Deering sailing the waters off Cape Hatteras on foggy nights. The phantom ship appears suddenly, her white sails glowing in the moonlight before vanishing back into the mist. Fishermen and Coast Guard crews have spotted the ghost ship dozens of times over the decades. She always appears to be sailing normally, but when approached, she fades away like morning fog. Some say they've seen figures moving on her deck, the missing crew still trying to bring their ship safely to port. The Carol A. Deering remains one of the most famous ghost ships in American maritime history, and her crew's fate is still unknown. Off the dangerous coast of North Carolina, she continues her eternal voyage, a reminder that the sea never gives up all its secrets. Number 9. The Vampire Beast of Bloedenborough. The creature that terrorized Bloedenborough in 1954 earned a second, even more sinister name: the Vampire Beast. While some called it simply the Beast of Bloedenborough, others believed its blood-draining attacks revealed something far more supernatural and terrifying than any ordinary predator. The name came from the creature's disturbing method of killing. Unlike normal predators that tear and devour their prey, this beast left animals completely intact, except for 2 small puncture wounds on the neck. Every drop of blood was drained from the victims, but the meat was left untouched. It was as if something was feeding only on the life force itself. Local veterinarians were baffled by the precise nature of the wounds. They were too clean and deliberate to be from claws or teeth, almost as if made by surgical instruments or fangs designed specifically for draining blood. The complete lack of blood in the animal's systems was unlike anything they had seen from known predators. As word of the attack spread, some began to whisper that Bloedenborough was dealing with something truly supernatural. The methodical blood draining, the creature's ability to avoid all attempts at capture, and its sudden appearance and disappearance suggested something beyond the natural world. Witnesses who claimed to see the creature described glowing red eyes that seemed to pierce right through them. Some said it moved too quickly and silently to be any normal animal. Others reported feeling a sense of dread and evil in its presence that no ordinary beast could inspire. The vampire beast theory gained more credibility when similar attacks occurred in other parts of North Carolina years later. Animals found completely drained of blood, with the same mysterious puncture wounds, as if the creature had moved on to new hunting grounds. Whether the vampire beast was a supernatural entity, an unknown species, or something else entirely, it left behind a legacy of fear and mystery that still haunts North Carolina today. In a state rich with folklore and legend, the blood-drinking beast of Bladenboro remains one of the most chilling and unexplained mysteries. Number 10. The Ghost of Teach's Hole. On Ocracoke Island, where the infamous pirate Blackbeard met his violent end in 1718, locals say his restless spirit still roams the waters and shores. Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, was killed in a brutal battle with British naval forces, his head severed and hung from the bowsprit of his enemy's ship. But death, it seems, could not contain the most feared pirate of the Atlantic. Blackbeard had made Ocracoke Island his base of operations, using the shallow waters of Teach's Hole to hide his ships from larger naval vessels. It was here that he felt safe, surrounded by loyal crew members and protected by treacherous currents that could destroy any ship unfamiliar with the area. When Lieutenant Robert Maynard finally cornered the pirate, the battle was fierce and bloody. Blackbeard fought like a man possessed, taking multiple sword wounds and gunshots before finally falling. His head was cut off as proof of his death, but some say his spirit never accepted defeat. Fishermen and boaters in Teach's Hole report seeing a tall, dark figure standing on the shore at dawn and dusk. The ghostly pirate appears to be searching the horizon, perhaps waiting for his ship to return or planning one final raid. His long black beard is unmistakable, flowing in a wind that no one else can feel. Others have seen strange lights moving beneath the water, as if Blackbeard's ghost is diving to recover treasure he buried in the Sound. Scuba divers have reported feeling an overwhelming presence while exploring the bottom, and some have surfaced, claiming they saw a bearded figure swimming among the ruins of old ships. On stormy nights, residents of Ocracoke sometimes hear the sound of cannon fire echoing across the water, though no ships are visible. The ghostly battle seems to replay itself, with Blackbeard's spirit refusing to surrender even in death. Local boat captains have learned to respect the legend. They avoid Teach's Hole during certain times, especially when the fog rolls in thick and the water turns an unusual shade of black. They know that some places hold on to their history too tightly to ever let go. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, Blackbeard's presence still dominates Ocracoke Island. In a place where piracy and legend intertwine, the most notorious pirate of them all continues to haunt the waters he once ruled with terror and cunning. Number 11. The Chained Oak of Statesville. In the quiet town of Statesville stands a massive oak tree that carries with it one of North Carolina's most haunting reminders of slavery's dark legacy. Known as the Chained Oak, this ancient tree was once used to chain enslaved people as punishment, and many believe their anguished spirits still linger in its twisted branches. The tree stands in what was once the center of a large plantation, its thick trunk scarred by the iron chains that were wrapped around it for decades. Enslaved people were chained to the oak for various infractions, forced to stand in the blazing sun or freezing cold as punishment. Some died while chained to the tree, their final moments filled with pain and desperation. Local historians have documented the tree's dark history, but residents report that the past refuses to stay buried. On quiet nights, people walking near the chained oak claim to hear the sound of rattling chains, even though no metal remains on the tree. Sobbing and moaning echo from the branches, as if the anguished souls are still trapped there. Some have seen shadowy figures standing near the base of the tree, their forms barely visible, but their sorrow unmistakable. The apparitions appear to be reaching up toward the branches, perhaps trying to free themselves from bonds that death could not break. Others report feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness and injustice when approaching the oak. The tree itself seems to bear the weight of its history. Despite its age and size, it struggles to grow healthy leaves, and parts of it appear to be dying slowly. No grass grows in a perfect circle around its base, as if the ground itself remembers the suffering that occurred there. Local paranormal investigators have recorded unexplained sounds near the tree, including voices speaking in what appears to be old African dialects. Temperature readings drop significantly around the oak, even on warm days, and electronic equipment often malfunctions in its vicinity. The chained oak serves as more than just a ghost story. It's a powerful reminder of America's painful past. The spirits that haunt this tree represent real people who suffered real injustice, and their presence ensures that their stories will never be forgotten. Today, the chained oak stands as both a historical landmark and a supernatural hotspot. Whether you visit to learn about history or experience the paranormal, this ancient tree continues to bear witness to the human capacity for both cruelty and resilience. Number 12. The Pink Lady of Grove Park Inn. High in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Asheville, the historic Grove Park Inn has welcomed presidents, celebrities, and distinguished guests since 1913. But among its most famous residents is someone who never checked out. The Pink Lady, a friendly ghost who has been charming visitors for decades with her gentle presence and flowing pink gown. The Pink Lady is believed to be the spirit of a young woman who died in the hotel in the 1920s. Some say she was a guest who fell from one of the upper floors, while others believe she was a staff member who met with a tragic accident. Regardless of her identity in life, she has become beloved by both guests and employees for her kind and helpful nature. Unlike many ghostly encounters that leave people frightened, meetings with the Pink Lady are described as comforting and pleasant. She appears most often in the hotel's older sections, gliding through hallways in her signature pink dress. Guests have awakened to find her standing peacefully at the foot of their beds, emanating a sense of warmth and protection before fading away. Hotel staff members have countless stories of the Pink Lady's helpful interventions. She's been known to turn off lights that were left on, close doors that were left open, and even tuck in sleeping children. Some employees report feeling a gentle touch on their shoulder when they're working late, as if she's checking on their well-being. The Pink Lady seems particularly drawn to room 545, where she's been spotted most frequently. Guests in that room often report the scent of roses with no flowers present, the sound of soft humming, and glimpses of pink fabric moving in their peripheral vision. Rather than being frightened, most visitors describe feeling watched over and protected. During the hotel's busy seasons, staff sometimes catch sight of the Pink Lady walking through the lobby or standing on the terrace, as if she's enjoying the festivities alongside the living guests. She's been photographed numerous times, though the images are often hazy or show only a pink blur moving through the frame. The Grove Park Inn has embraced its famous ghost, and the Pink Lady has become part of the hotel's charm and history. Tour guides share her story with delight, and many guests specifically request rooms where they might encounter her gentle spirit. In a state full of frightening legends and dark mysteries, the Pink Lady of Grove Park Inn offers a different kind of supernatural experience. She reminds us that not all ghosts are harboring anger or seeking revenge. Sometimes, spirits linger simply because they found a place they loved too much to leave. Whether you're staying at the Grove Park Inn for its luxury amenities or hoping for a glimpse of the Pink Lady, you're visiting one of North Carolina's most enchanting, haunted locations. In the mountains of Asheville, the past and present dance together, and the Pink Lady continues her eternal waltz through the halls of this grand hotel. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.